Hi, welcome to the RAMS Agents Production Coaching Call. The goal of the call is to help you sell more homes by maximizing your repeat and referral closings by implementing the Referral Agent Mastery System into your practice. My name is Mike Cerrone, co-founder of RAMS Agents, and my co-host is Angela Newman, a master trainer of RAMS Agents. Hello, Angela. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you guys? Woohoo.
Fantastic. Yeah. All right, cool. So let's get rolling. First thing I wanted to do today was I wanted to show you guys something, or just kind of a little reminder here. Let me get this going. Just take a couple minutes. I'm going to share my screen. We just keep in mind we have this fast start guide. And there we go. All right, so we got this quick start guide that you can access at any point. And for instance, we got this Pi Day event coming up. Angela's done some awesome training on it. If you want other reference material, it's in here. And a quick way to find it, like this guide is pretty long. Let's see, it's 64 pages. So if you're looking for stuff, first of all, you have a table of contents right here. And if you click on any of these items, it'll send you down there. So as an example, if you wanted to go look at calls and events, and you wanted to say, look at giveaway setup, and you wanted to look at, hey, prize, well, let's see, prizes, let's see, date of the events. Let's do that. We would click on this and we would click on that item and it brings you right to that spot in the training guide so you can read up on it. So that's one quick way to get there. And another way to get there, let's go all the way back up to this top, is if we go into edit and find and replace. This is inside Google Docs. And you just type in what you want. So in this case, let's type in Pi Day, for Pi Day giveaway. And that brings us to the first page that starts on 41. And we can kind of just quickly reference those items that just specifically talk to Pi Day, talk about Pi Day to get it up and running quickly, including like the photos that you need and some of the marketing materials, the setup, the dates, etc. It's just all in here if you need it. And I just want to make sure you all remember that that's a reference point. All right, any questions on the quick start guide?
No.
All right, cool. Cool. So remember you got that as a reference. All right, let's go ahead and hop in. Who's got some good news they'd like to share today? Who's got some good news?
I got some good news. I got a call yesterday from a client that I was working with maybe back in February, and nothing really came of it. We went on a few showings and stuff, and then they went on vacation, and then they just said, well, we're not looking to buy right now. But then they called me yesterday and said, hey, there's a home in our neighborhood. We want to see if you have any availability this week, and maybe we could go see a few others while we're at it. So some
That's
good news.
fantastic. You gotta love that loyalty, right?
Yeah, they said we've been getting your emails, so I think the monthly email is good to stay there and the top of mind and stuff. So
Good. I was going to ask what you were doing to stay up. It sounds like that's the nice thing about a system, right? So in this case, your system is that monthly email. It's going to go out to everyone you've put in there. And as long as you write your email and send it out, it's going. It's already set up. So you just have to put in an hour or so a month, and boom, your email is going to shoot out to all the people that you've entered in there. It probably took you many hours to set it up, but once it's up and running, it's pretty quick. It's kind of just happening in the background, right? Just doom to doom to doom, just a little reminder to them. So that's a mass reminder versus an individual call or an individual reach out. Now, were these people in your PCSOI?
yeah, we went to elementary school and we like fell out of touch, but I guess some of the classmates that he's still in touch with are like, oh, Tristan's in real estate. So he's like, all right, I'll reach out to Tristan.
Wow, that's a great story. So you're reaching out to part of your current sphere who also went to school with you. And one of those folks reached out to this person who came into your world in February to look at properties, and then you, I assume, put them into your follow-up system, and now you've been staying in touch with them, and now they pop back up to say, we're ready to look again.
Right.
Love it. Yeah, that's fantastic. How did they reach out to you, by the way? Did they call you? Did they text you, email you?
Yeah, email and then text.
Nice, nice. Well, that's fantastic. That's great news. Good job, Tristan. I can't wait to hear how that goes. When are you going to show them property?
Probably Friday. So
Cool. We'll
just
keep
to
our fingers
confirm.
crossed.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, you've been doing a lot of showings. I saw your report come out. You've been doing a lot of showings over the weekend. Got a lot of buyers that are percolating all of a sudden in this November.
Mostly tenants, but they plan to buy in the future, so just keep at it.
Good. You're building your potential buyer pool by working with the tenants and
Yeah,
making a
that's a
little bit of
good point.
cash in the meantime.
Yep.
Good. I like the strategy. Good job.
Thanks.
All right, cool. Anybody else got some good news they'd like to share?
I can tell you that I have an offer that I'm working right now on the rental property that's for sale. So that's slowed me down a little this morning, getting on, and we're in progress with negotiating. So we'll see
This is
where
the
we
one
go.
by the
We
lake?
have the offer, and we're going to do a counter offer. I'm sorry.
Is this the house by the lake?
No, no, this that's the one where I got sabotaged by the neighbors, right? No, this is it's a mountain house. It's a house with 3 acres that's on a dirt road, very secluded, and we flipped it from investment because that's currently what it's being used as. Uh, we got a price adjustment and flipped the description to being all about it being a mountain retreat. And that's really what the offer is coming from someone who's looking for some space to raise some animals and live off grid. They really want to be out in the woods anyway. So it's perfect. It's a good match for their needs.
That's a great story, Blake. That's a great example of targeting your property to a niche, right? So I'm trying to remember what do they call those folks who want to live off grid?
Homesteaders.
Homesteaders.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing. I sell goats to homesteaders, so I run into this a lot.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. So that's a term that you're using there in your community. So that sounds like a local term. A homesteader to me is something, 100 plus years ago when they were homesteading out here in the West. Obviously, they did it all over, but they're not actually mapping out a homestead and they're going to get their land from the government. But that's the concept, right? Is they're going to go out there and they're going to be the frontier person and they're going to take on this challenge and live on their own out in the wilderness. And you guys there are calling them homesteaders.
Yeah, I think that may be um, a newer application of that word because you're right. I hadn't heard that word before maybe 10 years ago or so, but it is a definitely a nationally used word speaking about folks that are trying to live off grid, uh, off off the land. Living and so it does harken back to exactly what you're saying, Mike, the original word, but I think it's being applied quite a bit to because I see it on a lot of Facebook posts and YouTube videos and that kind of thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And I like that you're using did you use that term in your marketing?
I did not. I did not. On the marketing, I focused much more on just the retreat aspect that you can get away from it all. It's very private. You're in a wooded area. You've got 3 acres all to yourself, and this home is ideal for that.
If you get another listing in that area, which happens often because you're active in the area and other people are noticing, you could use that marketing term to find buyers that are interested in that. So
Very
that's a
true.
really neat idea. And the generic concept is that we can try to target our properties towards a specific buyer group that has a good match for it. There was another term, I'm trying to remember what they called these people that, boy, I'm just not part of that culture, but they go out there and they have like bomb shelters and
Oh yeah,
they're
yeah.
really, going at this idea of they're going to be off grid and they have their own underground bunkers and you know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to remember the name of that group or what they call themselves. Anybody else remember what that is? Uh, just because
No.
if you would start going down that path to try to find that concept and as many of those kind of terms as you could, so that in the MLS in your description it's going to pop up, but also people who are looking on Google for that kind of thing, because Google will then pull up Zillow listings or Realtor.com listings or Home.coms or whatever the syndicated listings. When it goes out on the internet, then it's going to get indexed and become part of the search engine, and people will find it that way. I mean, for instance, do you know how these people found your property?
They did find it through an agent that was searching for a price point and 3 bedroom home. So they would have perhaps found it anyway, but they would have immediately known it wasn't a good fit for them if it had been in a subdivision. So I maybe the word retreat, mountain retreat, I don't know. No, that's a great question. But yeah, they came with a cooperating realtor.
Let's take it one step further. If you decided you like working in this area, you could geographic farm it, find other properties like it, and then you're making that match. You could go out to the groups of folks that are looking for that. Again, with this idea, we're identifying terms, and they probably have social networks. They probably have groups inside of Facebook that you could promote your listing in. They may have local chapters, or they probably more online than meeting in person. I don't know, just from their personality, but somehow they're meeting and you somehow get your properties in front of them and you're making these matches. Do.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, that's a really neat story, Blake. I really like how you took this property with to have one use structure. You tried to promote it that way as a rental in this example. Didn't play out the way you wanted. So you didn't sit around and wait for the listing to expire. You shifted gears and you said, you know what, this could also be repackaged as this other type of property, and you put it out as a mountain retreat. Bingo, you got yourself an offer.
That's right. That's right.
So I hope everybody listening thinks about that. What if you've got a listing that's sitting there? Is there a way you can repackage it to meet a different group of people that that might be interested in it? And the way to reach out to them, as we're talking about this, I think, is to add that to part of your description in your MLS, because in the MLS it may or may not be found. In the old days, maybe they found it, maybe they didn't. But now through syndication, which has been going on for decades, it's getting out there all over the internet. And because of that, it's going to be under search terms on the internet, and these folks will be bumping into it.
Very true. I think what you're pointing out there is if you're going to find a niche use for it, then absolutely have that very descriptive terminology in your listing description. I may have found somebody else if I'd used the word homestead. Perfect place for a homestead. That may have been a good use of the MLS description.
And even just adding that to the description. So if you thought of multiple niches that this property could meet: investor, mountain retreat, um, homestead, whatever the other one is I was trying to think of, you find all those terms and you just add them into your description, even as just extras at the end of whatever you already currently have. They're going to get indexed in. It's like again, because when they get syndicated, they go out on the internet for buyers that are searching out there, because so many people are searching on the internet now. I mean, almost everybody. It's going to pop up if they wrote in, I'm looking for a homestead property in the area, and bingo, you're going to pop up because it has the city or the address or the zip code or the town already part of the MLS that's getting indexed, and now it has these search terms that you're adding into the description. Google's going to make that match, and boom, it's going to spit it out to them as an option. That's kind of cool. This is kind of an interesting idea. Again, as our market slows down, and we've got to figure out ways to reach out to more buyers. We could rely on the agent to figure it out, and they usually do through co-oping, but maybe they don't. Like, what's the agent going to search for if they're looking for a homestead? If their buyer says, I'm a homesteader, and they're like, oh gosh, how do I search for this person? And if they're not in that market, they might just try to type in homesteader either in the MLS or even out on the internet, and your property pops up, and they're like, oh, hey, check this one out.
Right. Right. And I would think it would validate for someone that is searching for that. It would validate, oh, these people already think it fits this. So that's good. Just like, if it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, if we didn't mention that it was rented, maybe that wouldn't be the automatic, oh, I have some income property here. That you kind of need to make those suggestions, don't you?
You can add that into your description, which I assume you did the first round. But again, I'm
Yes.
saying you have multiple parts of this description. It could be used as blank. It could be used as blank. It could be, you have so much room in that description. You could put this out there. Let me spin one more idea off of this. Okay. So this is a competitive advantage that Blake brings to the table for all new potential sellers that want to hire him. All right. This becomes a story you can now use when you go on a listing presentation. Well, Blake, I'm looking at you, I'm looking at Tristan, I'm looking at Angela, I'm looking at a couple of different agents here to help me sell this home. What makes you stand out? Oh, that's a good question. Let me give you an example. I'm creative. I think of ways to find buyers that other agents don't. Let me give you a quick little story. I had this property, it was out in the woods. It was currently being rented. We had this income stream. I promoted it that way. It didn't work. A lot of agents would have stopped. But I said, this is not working. And I switched gears. And I went in and I just labeled it as a mountain retreat property. And within a week, we had an offer. By the way, we didn't have an offer after 2 months. But within 1 week of making that change, we had an offer. It got, and then whatever the rest of the story is, it got accepted. My sellers are ecstatic. They were able to take their money and reinvest it into wherever. You have this story that you just painted. And how long did that just take me to say? 2 minutes? And I just painted this amazing story about an example of how I helped somebody else using creativity. Because you can say, I'm a creative agent. People are like, oh, okay, everybody says that. You just showed an example of how it worked, right? Anytime you can incorporate a story into your listing presentation, you're going miles ahead of your competition.
Yeah, that's great. I'm making some good notes on that. That's a very good point. Take this story, demonstrate through the story briefly how I am uniquely qualified to handle their sale. That's great.
Give them something to hang their hat on. You are a creative agent. You're a creative marketer, right? You're an alternative thinker. You think outside the box, right? Give them terms to hang their hat on and go, yeah, that's why I hired Blake, when they're telling their friend why they hired you. Okay.
That's right. I need to give them a story that they can actually tell their family members and other people, because they're going to need to explain why they chose me. Maybe they don't need to, but they may very well be in a position to explain that. And I want them to explain it well and have words to use. That's great.
Exactly right. And you want to give them that story to share the story. Let me tell you what Blake did. They'll remember the story. We love to remember stories. They may mess up some of the ideas and the details, but they will get the overall concept to
Yeah.
share. A spouse sharing why they want to hire you. They just heard about this story. So this is another example, assuming this all plays out. This is a great example of something you can use with your PCSOI. You can now take this story and share it as part of the testimony. We get the testimony and the review from the owner. And remember, you can do testimony in multiple ways. You can get a first person where they're telling the story, and that's the best. But you can also do a third party. Well, you can do it secondary. You do it, you tell the story, and you can do a third party where somebody else, like their family member, tells the story. But you can do that in video, which is the best. You can do it just auditory where you're recording it. You can do it in writing. You can do social media where you're writing it and you're showing a picture of the property and you're giving the story. There's a lot of ways to get this message out to all of your people in your PCSOI saying, hey, this is why you should consider hiring me the next time around, or referring me to your friends. I'm a creative person. And they will remember the story, at least in the short term. And if they've got anybody in their life who's thinking about moving, they could say, this guy, Blake, you should probably talk to him. Check out what he did. And they're sharing the story. It's a very unique story. People are going to remember it. It's kind of creative. It's different. It's a twist. Maybe they've got a friend, especially in today's market, maybe they've got a friend who has an expired listing. And they're like, whoa, you need to talk to Blake. He's creative. He'll come up with a solution. You could take this idea and use it in a marketing piece to an expired listing and say, hey, I know that you've got this property. You wanted to get it sold. Sometimes agents aren't as creative as they need to be. Check out what I did on this property over here, and you just tell a story. If you want somebody who thinks like this, give me a call. What other agent's putting that kind of marketing out? You completely stand out from the crowd, right?
Yeah.
You could put that in a postcard. You could put that out on a social media. You could just call them up and tell them the story over the phone. You could knock on their door and tell them the story. These things are gold if you can remember stories. And this is a great example. This is your story for how I'm creative, right? How I do things differently than other agents. Who can match that story? None of us on this call can match your story. That is your individual story. That's the Blake story, right? And everybody listening should be thinking about when you run into these situations where you had a creative answer, write it down. That should become your little creative story on, and as many details as you can. We had Mary and Sue, or you can change their names if you want. We had this property in the woods. It was on 3 acres. As many of those little details as you can. Maybe the roof wasn't quite there. I don't know, whatever it is. It was falling down a little bit, needed a little bit of paint, but it didn't matter. We took all those things are so important. It had a little bit of land where you could have your goats running around. That's what they liked. It had some land that you could farm and you could put some of their own crops on. Any of those details you can sprinkle into the story. It creates color in their vision of their view of what they're hearing. And that's what they'll remember and tell their friends. They'll remember you're the person who did that thing. You were the creative one.
Good stuff.
I love this story. Yeah, Blake. You could really run a great little marketing campaign off of this.
Agreed.
Cool. Thank you for sharing such a great story, and good luck on the offer negotiation.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else got some good news?
I was going to say the word that was coming to my mind was prepper, but I did a quick search, and I guess there's another one called boondocker, but the homesteader did pop up as a commonly used term for off-grid. So, and prepper wasn't on there, but I was thinking of prepper.
Prepper, good job. Yeah. So write that down, Blake. Those are other little terms you could add into your marketing if you run into this again. It may be even terms you add to your story, right? This is what I was prepared to do next. Okay, go ahead, Blake. Go ahead, Angela.
So Patty and I are doing Pi Day this year, and Aaron, 3 of us, possibly Brian. And Patty and I sent out our invites in the mail last week. I guess they arrived yesterday because we got 3 signups for pies. And so I'm sure that they'll be trickling in over the next 2, 3, 4 days this week. And getting those when we get the invites in the mail, you don't always have time for that because the mail's so slow these days. But if you do that, then now we have the opportunity after, like, maybe tomorrow or the next day, we can make our calls and then give the calls, text. Did you get the postcard? Did you get the email and all that kind of stuff? So that's what we'll be doing this week.
That's exciting, Angela. Good luck getting that that whole program put together. I know you're a pro at the Pi Days event. How's it? By the way, how's it looking? So, how many people did you invite? How many people have replied so far? I mean, it's still pretty early. We're what, a couple weeks out from the event. And so, how's that going? Like, how many invitations you put out? How many people have responded and say they want a pie early on, like early times here?
Yeah. So mailing, I mailed to 30 people, Patty mailed to 25, and those were people that we already had their addresses for. As you know, I was out of town until Sunday night, so I got what I could done before I left town last week, and then I'm back now. So I will invite some other people that I don't have their addresses for through calling, email, and text. And if I don't have their email, it's a good opportunity to call them and say, hey, I'd like to invite you to this event. And then also, can I get your email and your address for future invitations?
And how many people have said, yeah, they want to come join you?
We only had 3 so far, but I don't
3.
know. All we did was mail right now. So
Yeah, so that's about
today,
5%.
out of 55.
Yep. So you're sitting about 5% response already. And when do you have an RSVP date, like a deadline that they have to respond by? When is that?
So our deadline is the 16th.
So that's in 5 days. So you have this incredible opportunity over the next 5 days for this week to reach out to these people by however method you want, phone, text, email, social media, messenger, whatever, to reach out to them and say, hey, you're invited to the Pi Day event. Would you like me to save you a pie?
Yeah, and I say you can reserve your pie and go to the form, and that's how I know that they've signed up, because I get an email automatically through Google. So,
and if you're talking to them on the phone or whatever, they don't have to go to the phone. You could just fill it out yourself or add them to the list, right? You make everybody go through the phone or go through the form?
I do.
Okay.
Because when you don't have them do that, then there's a greater chance that they aren't really wanting this. They don't. It's hard to say, but we had a lot of people that didn't show up. So for whatever reason, and I believe that it was because they wanted to be nice, or they weren't really sure what their plans were going to be, or whatever reason. Oh yeah, sure, I'll come to your Pi Day. That sounds great. Send me the information. But when they actually go and fill out the form, then number one, they're used to it every year. Okay, it's time to reserve my pie. And then number 2, they've actually taken action on it. And then if they can't make it, they're more likely to contact you and say, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. What can I do? Can I send somebody else or whatever? So
it increases their commitment by having them fill out the form.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so when you're talking to them, whatever medium you're using, I'll just say the phone, but it could be phone, text, messenger, whatever you're talking to them, you could say, hey, I'll just send you a quick link so you can sign up on the form. That's how you would finish the call, and you just zip over the link. Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's a lot of information, especially we're having 2 locations this year. So I'll say, you know what? I'm going to send you over all the details. I'm going to be in town. I would love to see you. And just go ahead if that works for you. We would love for you to come and and then text them the details in the sign up form.
Nice. And you can even have that already templated out, right? A templated email or a templated text message, just copy and paste and go.
Yeah, and we created that in the workshop that I did, the challenge. So yeah, it's real easy. You just have that template, and the form also has all the details and the information. When they fill out the form, it emails them automatically all of the details and information. So, and it emails you too.
That's fantastic. Good job, Angela. Good luck with the Pi Day. Can't wait to hear more updates on how that goes.
And today at 1 o'clock for the people that are in the challenge, we have open Q&A if anyone has any questions.
That's cool. You're doing a follow-up on your training. You did a 3-day training for folks, and they can now go back in there and also get help as they're with you once a week in these calls to lead up to the actual event. Fantastic. And that was all for free. Man, I hope somebody jumped on that training. That was sweet.
Angela, I wanted to jump on there with one comment that I've learned from one of my associates that I was telling him about Pi Day. And he says, Blake, I've never heard of this until this year. And he has received 2 other invitations. And I asked him, who are they from? Because I was curious, are they realtors or whatever? One was his CPA, and the other was his financial advisor. So clearly, people in the professional services industry are catching on that this is something. So I told him, well, this is great. You can rack up and get 3 pies because I'm going to give you one too. Anyway, I wanted to let you know.
That's awesome because obviously I'm not the one who invented it. And in fact, the first Pi Day, I was given the task to create the system and figure it out and do it. And I was a little resistant. I was like, well, this is kind of like we're really going to buy a bunch of people pies, and it was a long time ago, 12, 13 years ago. But yeah, I guess it's expanded, and that's really cool to hear.
Yeah, I keep repeating it, but the top agents just love this event. They just do it over and over and over again because of the results they get. It's the right time of year. There's just a lot of reasons for doing it. So if you're able to, jump in and get it done. Hey, Blake, I had a follow-up question for you. We were just talking about that property you had and you switched gears on the marketing. How long did you market it as an investment property without an offer? And then how long did you market it as the retreat property, the mountain retreat?
I don't have the exact days, but it was probably about 65, 70 days. Certainly 60 plus days as investment property. And we'd even had a price reduction during that time. No activity at all, not even a showing. I'd gotten a call and I got one text just getting some clarification. And then, so we flipped the marketing description. Now, understand that was it. That was also tied to a price reduction. It was not a huge price reduction, but it was still a reduction, and changed the marketing. And within 10 days, I had 2 showings and an offer. I made notes there of that. Within 10 days, I had 2 showings and an offer. And the only reason that didn't move more quickly is because we couldn't get into the property because it was tenant occupied, and I was having to work through that. And instantly, I did give the tenant a gift card. So I took your advice on that.
That's fantastic, Blake. Congratulations. What a great story. Love those details, all those little details for you sharing the story with whoever you're going to share it with. A potential new seller out in your marketing piece. But gosh, think about it. Boy, we tried this for 70 days, didn't work. I had to make a change. I couldn't let my seller get sit there and languish, and we adjusted, and within 10 days, boom, got our offer right after making the adjustment. What a great story. You could tell that to agents as a great story, right? This is how I am creative, and I think outside the box. You have a challenge property, let me talk to you. Let me help you get some ideas on how to get this going. So you could use that for agent attraction or just helping out a friend. That's pretty cool, Blake. Thank you for sharing those details. Yevon, welcome to the call. Do you have any good news you'd like to share?
Hello, hi. Yes, I do. I did the same. I sent around like 400 emails for people to bring them to the Pi Day, and I got like 8 so far reservations. And I will continue to kind of follow up with, like people. I create like one post on Instagram, and we'll repeat like this week again. And I did like what Angela suggests, like I go to the Casca, I fill up the form, so like to kind of reserve some pies, and we'll add more to the date. And I decided to do it on 22nd, November 22nd, a little bit early, but I mean, I'll try.
Yeah, you
Because it's
just make it
weekend.
work for you.
Yes, kind of. And I also reach out, like Angela said, to title company, to one of my friends who work there, and they will be our sponsor. So they give us like $250, and it bring me like extra, pies I can buy for people. And some people start to ask me like, is it like real party? Is it gonna be any drinks? I said no, it's not like a real party. Just kind of like a giveaway pies. It's no drinks. It's just kind of like maybe hot tea, hot cacao, and hot chocolate, but like not the kind of real party like with people and things like that. So I need kind of like maybe put some disclosure. It's kind of like family friendly event, not something else.
That's fantastic, Evan. I've heard everything from you just hand out the pie, you meet and greet super fast, to some people have hot cocoa and even cookies for the kids when they show up, when people show up with their kids to hand out. Some people even give an extra gift on top of the pie. There's all kinds of things. You can set it up any way you want. Let's go back to what you did. You sent out 400 email invitations and you got 8 responses. Did I hear that right? 8 responses?
Yes, correct.
Good. So you got a 2% response rate right off the bat. So here's the big question for people. Did you just gain a benefit with 8 people? Yes or no?
I don't know.
Yeah, so the answer is yes, you did just gain the benefit with 8 people. However, you really gained the benefit, your marketing benefited you and touched 400 people because the power is in the invitation. Only
Right.
8 people so far have said yes, and it'll be more as you market this. But it's not going to be the whole group. People are so scared to send out to their whole list. They're like, I can't buy 400 pies. Right. You're not going to have to buy 400 pies. They're not going to all show up. They're not all going to take you up on this. In the examples we've had so far, we had a 5% response rate and a 2% response rate. So you're not going to have to buy pies for everyone. And again, if you're really worried about this, you've never done it before, just put a limit on it. So in your marketing, all you say is for the first 25 people, you'll get a pie. For the first 25 people that respond, or whatever your number is, the first 10 people or the first 5 people, the first 300 people, whatever your number is, you can limit it by just adding that little phrase, right? I think this is fantastic. Yevon, you've run with this. You got a sponsor to host the event. You got a sponsor to help you buy some pies and maybe some items at the event itself. They'll be co-sponsoring because it's at their place and their name is all over the place as far as their marketing. They're benefiting. You're benefiting with those 8 people that show up, and then again it'll be more, and those pies you give away. But the big win to me in the big picture is the 400 invitations. You touched 400 of your people. You reminded them you're in real estate. You said, hey, I'm a great guy. I'm handing out some free pies. This is fantastic. I'm really glad that you took us up on that idea. You took Angela up on that idea and you did
Yep.
the Pi Day event. Good work.
Yeah, thank you. We'll continue to do like repeat email to remind the people. We'll do like again one reel, one post, a couple stories, And yeah, and like you said, it's not for all agents, because I talked to the in the office for a few agents and asked them if they know about this event. A lot of people don't know this event. Nobody kind of tried, and I said, "Oh, let's do it with me." And they give up. They said, "Oh, we don't know who reach out, how reach out, what we will do, how buy. I mean, how present these cakes and things like that." So it's kind of like not for all agents, honestly. A lot of people really like, even if I explain all like Angela's strategy, like how she did it, people still kind of like, "Oh, I don't know, like who will come, blah blah blah." Like it's kind of, yeah. I'm glad we guys doing it, and like you share it, and yeah, I'll try anyway. Like, yeah, I like it. I like this idea a lot.
It doesn't take twice the effort to be twice as good as everyone else. Okay. It doesn't take 200% of the effort to be 200% better. Usually it only takes 5% more to be better than everybody else by 200% results, right? So
Mhm.
Yevon just showed the big power that he has and why he does so well. The thing I would drop this down to is action. He's an action taker. He took action. He heard this idea, he took action, right? It's why I really enjoy talking to the people on this call, is because they tend to be action takers, right? They hear something and they start running with it. And that's the difference between the average agent or a typical agent who falls out and crashes and burns, doesn't do any business, leaves the business, whatever, and somebody who succeeds is they take a lot of action. We don't know what's going to work until we go out there and test it. So good job. Good job, Yevon. I'm going to give you one other thing, and then I might want to turn this over to Angela. I think she has some ideas for you. But Yevon, one other quick idea is you might want to reach out to the top referrers you have in your group, your top clients. You might want to do more than just the email with them. You might want to call and make a personal invitation to them. So the people who have been buying from you either recently and or they buy from you repeatedly and or they refer a lot of business to you, you probably have a top 10, top 25 list. For those people, you should actually call and make a personal invitation and say, I just want you to know I'm thinking about you. I'm doing this Pie Day event. Would you like a pie for Thanksgiving? They're going to be the same. Yes, no, yes, no. That's all good. It's the touch. It's the touch. They're going to be like, wow, yeah, Yevon likes me so much. He called me and he invited me to this event, right? I like Yevon too. Man, I'm going to tell all my friends about Yevon, right?
Yep. Okay, cool. Thank you.
That's the power of events. The power of events is the invitation. Yeah, go ahead, Angela.
So great job, Yevon. That is really, really awesome. And it takes courage to send out a pie invitation to 400 people. And so very, very happy that you did that. And I would say that this is a huge opportunity to take it to the next level. Like it's great to send out another email and a text and everything, but that phone call, what Mike said, if you can call at least your top people, your top 100. Ideally, like in a perfect, beautiful world, you could call 400 people, or your assistant could call however many 200 people. Because what you would say is something like, hey, I wanted to make sure you got my invitation. I'm hosting a Pi Day event this year, and I sent you an email with all the details. Did you get that? And they're like, no, I never saw that. Then it's a good opportunity to say, oh, well, maybe it went to their junk mail or spam. And so, are you at your computer right now? Oh, okay, cool. Well, can you check your spam? And then they can look or whatever. And then if that is happening and your emails are going to their spam, then you can ask them to add as a safe sender or a contact into their email system. So that's number one. And then number two, if they say, yeah, I did get your email, and I'm just trying to figure out what my schedule is and everything. It's still a good opportunity to say, awesome. Well, I was looking and I don't have your address, or I don't have this, whatever it is, your email, if you don't have their email. And then go ahead and update that too. and then just that one-on-one touch. When we invited 3,000 people, how we did it, I don't know if this is legal anymore with all of their restrictions, but they were people that had, you know, for the most part, opted into our received communication from us. But we sent out a slide broadcast voicemail with the recording that said, hey, because there was no way that we were going to be able to call all 3,000 people, or we could have, but I guess with our schedule and everything. And it just said, hey, just wanted to make sure that you saw that we sent you an email. We're hosting Pi Day again this year. And people, for the most part, every once in a while, would get a couple of grouchy people that would say, don't send me these robo voicemails, take me off. And then we're like, no problem. Are you still interested in Pi Day? Oh, yeah, I love Pi Day. Okay, well, we will not send you any more of these. But that's another option with a really big list. I would prefer to call one-on-one if you can, or if you have the manpower to do it, have your assistant help with it.
Yep, great idea. And when I doing like pretty much everyday call, I need to remind to the people like I'm doing this event, or you would like to come. Yeah, because I did like yesterday, maybe around like 10 calls with different clients, follow up and like, yeah, but I didn't tell to anyone I'm doing this event. So it's simple, but it's out of my head. Yeah, I need to, just write it down like, yeah, but just tell to the people you're doing this event to any people. Okay, good idea. Yeah, thank you.
You don't want to do all of this scrubbing or whatever during this time. Like in the future, your assistant could call and just say, hey, I'm calling on Yevin's behalf. I know that you guys have worked together in the past, or you're part of his community. And can I verify your contact information just so that you get invitations in the future and get all of his stuff? So
yeah. Okay. Yep. Thanks.
Yeah, that is great advice, Angela. Good job. And absolutely, Yevon, as you progress, this is your first one, you'll think of ideas to add. So be sure to document it, create a little system for next year for you to do it next time, making notes on what you want to do different, you and your assistant. And Angela's idea of having your assistant call or reach out is fantastic. My recommendation again, though, you call your top 10, because you already did, you just called 10. You can do that. And then you have the assistant call the rest of the group. Remember, it's not how many people accept the pie. It's not how many people show up to the event. It's how many people can you touch that they remember your name for real estate.
Yep.
That's the win here. That's the big win. Okay. So good job. Good job. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. We're kind of ate up a bunch of our time today. Anybody have any dying issue that you want us to address? Any questions, concerns, things you want the mastermind to focus on for a few minutes here? Oh, that's easy. Good, good. Well, if you have one, bring it to this call. We'll be here on Tuesdays for that. And by the way, notice I'll eat up a lot of time just going down one trail or the other and having some fun. If you have a burning issue and you want the mastermind to address it, I want you to bring it up right at the beginning. I want you to say, hey, Mike, I got something I want the group to talk about, think about, focus on, help me with, and we'll do that. Yeah, that's what this call is for. If not, we're going to talk about different ideas and brainstorm and just kind of go different directions. But you have a hot idea, a hot topic, bring it up at the beginning so we have time to address it and get it figured out. All right, let's do this. Are there any other events? Well, just tell me any events you're going to be doing in November and December, because we're talking about event marketing here. We got Pi Day event. Several people are doing that. That's fantastic. Any other events that anybody's doing over the next 60 days, through the end of the year?
I don't have a specific event, but I'm remembering, and it's just because we're in this meeting that I'm remembering. Here we are, the 11th of November. It's already Veterans Day, and I haven't started doing my gratitude cards. So I need to get busy with writing some more gratitude cards.
give everybody a quick 60-second overview of your gratitude card program, Blake. You did it last
So
year.
yeah, I did it last year, and I really need to extend it throughout the year, but it's just such a great season to be I mean, the season is focused on gratitude. It really is. So through November, I try, and last year what I did was every day I wrote 5 notes, not postcards, but I've got note cards like this. And I still write personal notes on these note cards, but they're just simple. They've got my name on them, and and I can write a note. So I would just write a note to I went through my PCSOI, and I divided it up so that 5 a day got me through however many I had at the time. But anyway, I wrote 5 a day and mailed them out, put a stamp on them, mailed them out. And the cards were just notes of appreciation for who they were and what they meant to me in my life. And in many cases, I would use what I shared here, some catchphrases like, whatever this action is that you've done you have always inspired me by blah, blah, blah. I look for ways that that person has impacted my life in a more meaningful way. So I would express to them, you've inspired me through this action. Or basically, you're trying to make sure they're seen, right? We all want to be seen. And that's what I did with those notes. And I need to do it again because that has been very powerful. And, looking back on it, couple of the notes that I wrote, I've done business with those folks this year. So I don't know that directly caused that to happen, but these were situations where they picked up the phone, called me and said, Blake, I need you to take care of whatever. Got a referral through one of those.
Fantastic, Blake. It's a fantastic program. It's a great piece. It's old fashioned. Let's just be clear. It's very old fashioned idea to send someone a note. And that's why I think it has power. Who sends you a personal note? In your life, who has ever mailed you a personal note? Family member, maybe your father, your mother, an aunt, a grandparent might have sent you a personal note, and it probably had a lot of meaning because it had a lot of personal information in it that was very customized to you specifically. And so by you reaching out and making these customized cards of gratitude and appreciation for this person, they're extremely powerful for them. And I bet you most of the people have that card still in their possession somewhere, right? I
Very
bet it's
possible.
still on their refrigerator, in their folder, on their table. It's somewhere. They've kept it in a box. It's somewhere because it supports them and their view of themselves. So super powerful. Now, and if you, again, hardcore business people, I always like to think of those people. They're listening to me going, "No, that's a bunch of malarkey. I'm not listening to that. That's silly." And I'll tell you this, we have a top agent that I've interviewed who closes 50 transactions a year just by doing this, just by sending out cards. Right? I interviewed her. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name right off the top of my head, but I interviewed her, and that's her whole thing. That's all she does, just send out personal cards. That's her prospecting each day. And I think it is 5 a day. She just sends out cards. That's it. 50 closings a year.
Yeah.
What a dumb idea. It's a dumb idea if you don't want 50 closings a year. So if you do any of these things consistently, they touch people, right? It's just helpful. And then, by the way, and you're like, well, what would I do? I'll just give you real fast. I think that her strategy was she used technology in this way. She would look at Facebook each day at her friends and see what's going on in their life, and then she'd send out a card. I saw that blank is happening and here you go. Right.
See, that's a great way to do it right there because you have a cause, a reason to do so. What I'm making during the month of November, or at least I did last year, and I'm going to restart it again this year, is that's the reason. I'm just thinking of a reason that I am grateful for that person, or a reason that I appreciate them. Everybody in my life, I have something I appreciate about them, something that they are doing that impacts me or that I observe and admire, something I admire about them or something I am inspired by. That was the other phrase I used. Now that you mention it, let's say I've always admired. If you start a sentence with I've always admired, then you continue. It doesn't matter what I mean, it does matter what the rest of it is. It needs to be genuine, but that's powerful. That is a very powerful thing to tell someone. And like you said, it's, most of the realtors I know are very caring people, and they want part of their career is to uplift others. And, if I didn't even get business from this, it would still be a wise thing for me to do because it's the right thing to do.
Absolutely. I like that you gave us just real fast, you gave us some terms to throw in there. You inspired me. I'm grateful. Any other terms that people could use to help them if they were going to write these cards?
You inspired me, or you inspire me. I'm grateful for, I appreciate this. I've always admired. I've always admired something. Those are all great sentences because they open up the door for you. I mean, that gives you a reason right there.
Well, Blake, I admire you for putting out those gratitude cards. What a fantastic thought and action. We talked about it earlier. You're taking action. You took action last year. You're going to take action again this year. Can't wait to hear how that goes. It is definitely the season for gratitude. All right, let's wrap up our production call. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let's now do a quick switch and go into our huddle for the day to get us started off on the right foot. Number one thing you did yesterday to move your business forward. Number one thing you're going to do today to move your business forward. Who would like to start? Well, we don't have Tristan. Tristan likes to take that first spot. He just jumped off. Anybody else want to jump into the first spot?
Sure, I'll jump right in. It's yesterday. Number one thing I worked. I'm behind the calendar on my Pi Day, but I'm getting it done. And then I realized today there's no mail. There's so great. So anyway, I'm getting my Pi Day stuff out the door. And yesterday I did that. I finally set up my proper form and everything. So my Pi Day invitations are getting out the door, but I'm not worried. I'm using first class mail, and I'm mailing them here. So I would suspect they'll start hitting by the weekend anyway.
Remember, you can reach out in multiple mediums. Mail is
Absolutely.
one of them, which I really like. But you can also call, you can text, you can email, you can post it on
Absolutely.
social media. There's a lot of different ways to reach out to people. What's the power, Blake? What's the power of the event?
The power is in the invitation. I just do want to make sure they get the actual piece of mail before the deadline that I give them. So that's the key. I want to make sure they get that, and then I'm going to call and follow up. But even for some folks I don't have their address, maybe I'm going to send them a text with my graphic and tell them, hey, I want you to be a part of this.
There you go. Think outside the box, Blake. Think
Yeah.
outside the box. How are you going to get
I'll
it to
definitely-
them? How are you going to get it in front of them? Even if it shows up after the event, the mail gets delayed. you still win because they're like, hey, Blake was thinking about me. I don't know why
Yeah.
this didn't get to me. They might call you up, Blake, why did I get this so late? I don't know. Mail must have messed up, but boy, we wish you were there. We got to have you there next year. By the way, my next event is, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the key is I'm mailing it to him, but I'm following up. So I'm going to be contacting him anyway, as Angela's told me. That's the premise of the call. Hey, I wanted to make sure you got that invitation. Hey, I mailed this thing out. It was kind of tight turnaround. Some of the folks have gotten them, some of them haven't, whatever the case may be. But I want to make sure you don't miss out on this. So if you didn't get it, let me tell you about it.
A great point. By mailing it out, you have a purpose for your call.
Yeah, yeah. So
Go
anyway,
ahead, Angela.
You can
yeah,
always pivot too. So if you find that your stuff just it's not getting delivered and you've talked to a few people and there's always things that are going to come up every year different, then you can always just send out an explanation and just say, hey, I've extended the deadline. I talked to the baker. They're going to give us 3 or 4 more days. There's still time. Don't worry. I'm sorry that you didn't get your invitation or whatever. But yeah, just so that because when we put that deadline, and then it's happened before to where we were so close to the deadline that we were able to estimate with the baker and then add or take away as needed. So
thank you, Angela, for giving me an out. Hey, number one thing today, I'm negotiating are working on the negotiation of the sale of this property.
Good luck on that negotiation, Blake.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, who's next? Number one thing you did last business day, number one thing today.
So I will go. Yesterday, like I said, I got back into town Sunday night, and so I had a withdrawn listing, and I had a listing that I had expire Sunday night. So relisted those, and then added a lease segment to one of those, and then also just trying to get caught up with active buyers and that was yesterday. Today, I am trying to schedule a showing on a property and then also following back up with another buyer to see where he's at with his offer.
Cool. I hope that goes well for you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Angela. All right. Yevon, do you have anything you want to share?
Yeah, I will continue. I mean, yesterday, I'm like Blake, negotiate 2 deals. One we get done, our offer accepted. Another one I will continue today to negotiate with the agent. It's a big house for my client, and looks like the neighbor come with cash offer. So we need to kind of like right now high our offer and renegotiate price again to make sure because my guy going with finance. And yeah, we'll work today and get this now the offer accepted.
Well, good luck with that negotiation, Yevon. That's fantastic news. We love when we're putting contracts together. Were those buyers or sellers?
Buyers.
Yeah, you're very buyer heavy. That's what's so impressive to me about your business. The majority of your business is buyers and 50 some closings a year. Do you think you're going to hit your 50 again this year?
I'm trying hard right now.
Yeah.
That's why I'm working so hard to kind of make it done. Yeah, I'm like right now at 38. So I need to like get 12 more, and I have like 4 under the contract. So I'm close.
Did you say you're at 48 and you got 4 under contract?
30,
Did I
no,
hear that right?
38.
Say again?
38.
Oh, 38. 38. So you need 12 more to hit your 50.
Yeah, and 4 pending. Yeah.
Well, you're close. You're close. I like the last part of the year, so I think you got a high probability. Don't give up. Keep going.
Thanks.
All right. Cool. All right, let's see. Yesterday I made a couple dials out to my group, and today I'm going to do the same. This is my new list of people And that's what I'm going to do, right? So that's prospecting calls. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here today, and keep moving forward. Have a fantastic rest of your week.